I can't believe I'm saying this. Today we're playing Legacy Death and Taxes featuring Thalia, Exuberant Shepherd, and Overlord of the Balemurk. Let's go check it out. Let's begin by thanking Valgrim for today's donation deck. They donated extra so that way I would play a fair deck on the channel. And I'm going to be honest with you, I really did not want to, but the people seem to really love that Painter Servant video that I recorded last week, which you can find on the card above. And people wanted to see more fair decks, and Valgrim is pushing his buttons, and that's what we're doing today. So thank Valgrim for the extra fair deck content. I don't want to make it a regular thing, but here we are. And the reason that we're playing Death and Taxes, if you looked at the BNR update, Carmen said that Death and Taxes was having a resurgence. It did really well in a showcase, and it's the reason that Oops All Spells is okay. Yeah, I don't know. But regardless, Death and Taxes is the meme. That's why, Oops All Spells is acceptable in Legacy still, and Valgrim thought that was very funny. So we are playing Death and Taxes today. And when you look at this deck list, this is not the Death and Taxes from a decade ago. We're looking over the creature suite. There's Lion Sash, Thalia, Exuberant Shepherd to blink things. That's really what the deck is about these days. And then Stoneforge Mystic, along with things like Overlord of the Balemurk, White Orchid Phantom, Recruiter of the Guard, Flicker Wisp, and Witch Enchanter. There's a creature that was absent here. Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. There are 0 copies in our entire 75. That's because this isn't really a Thalia, Guardian of Thraben deck anymore. It's very different from a decade ago. There's also nothing like Sanctum Prelate or anything like that. You're more of just an Orzhov Blink style deck with Overlord of the Balemurk and Solitudes in it. That's what we're playing today. And because there's no Thalia and a Guardian of Thraben, you're really weak to combo. You do have 4 copies of Thoughtseize, but that's probably not enough, even when paired with Wasteland. So when you look at the sideboard, you see 4 copies of Deafening Silence, 4 Leyline of the Void, 4 Disruptor Flute, and then the Wrath of the Skies is pretty much your non-combo card. This comes in against things like, Mardu Energy, for example, or those artifact-based decks like Affinity. That's the game plan. And obviously, we're a Yorion Sky Nomad deck because this also blinks things, because we are a blink-style strategy now. So let's all thank Valgrim for the donation deck. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and I will see all of you in match number 1. Don't go anywhere. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. You can also show your support by becoming a member of this channel. You get sweet perks such as badges, emotes, early access to videos, exclusive members-only content, and access to our members Discord section. As you increase the tiers, there are other rewards such as shop discounts, sideboard guides, and even free donation decks. Click the join button down below to find out more. We also have other ways you can support us, like theepicswarm.com/shop or submitting a donation deck via theepicswarm.com/donation decks. That's enough for now. Let's play some Magic. Welcome to match number 1. We're on the draw versus a known Oops All Spells player, and this is not Death and Taxes, right? Like, I have it here. I don't know what to do. I don't think I've ever had this happen to me before. I guess we'll play it. Keep. Alright, while they're mulliganing, I'm gonna message Valgrim. They play a land tapped. Okay. Lion's Eye Diamond, that's a good one. We'll play Scalding Tarn and pass. They play a second land. So it looks like they're back on a Force of Vigor list, because for a while, Oops All Spells wasn't playing these. We'll fetch, grab, Elegant Parlor, gamble. I don't really want to echo when I have Beseech the Mirror in my hand. We'll get rid of the gamble. Hexing Squelcher is a terrible draw. Brainstorm. This does not Beseech the Mirror. It does next turn. So we'll hide Squelcher, hide Beseech. And I think we just want to play out all of our stuff here. Pass the turn. Because I'll have plenty of Storm to win the game with next turn. I'm not worried about Storm. And it looks like they're passing. We're going to draw Beseech the Mirror. I have triple black off of Lotus Petal, Underground Sea. So I think I could actually start this turn with a Silence. Imprint the Silence, cast it. Black mana, black mana, black mana. Tap a Plateau. We'll cast Beseech the Mirror. Sacrifice the Chrome Mox. Now we'll add 3 black. I'm not going to lie to you. I love beating Oops All Spells. It's one of my favorite things. I hate this deck so much. Guys will. Play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Play Chrome Mox. Cast Beseech. Sacrificing the Chrome Mox. And Tendrils of Agony. Target you. Alright, we win game number 1. We want Leyline of the Void, get rid of Hexing Squelcher, and then the game plan is bend 2 copies of Brainstorm because you want all of your silences. So we'll try this. It's not like you have a ton of time in this matchup for Brainstorm anyway. Belgrim just messaged me back. They said, that's fine, just play the League. Okay, once again, I'm sorry, everyone. It's an honest mistake. I did not mean for this. We're just going to try to, make it work. Game number 2 on the draw, we will keep. We have the Leyline. They kept their 7, which is not good for me. We drew the Mana Source, so now I can gamble for Lion's Eye Diamond. We'll grab Badlands, cast the gamble, Lion's Eye Diamond. Unfortunately, we discarded Chrome Mox. I would have really liked to have kept all my mana. Okay, so now we'll spin. Storm is 4. And they have the Force of Vigor. That's not good. I have to pass the turn. Lotus Petal. And they're passing. I'm not dead. How about that? We'll play Lion's Eye Diamond. I think I just want to echo here. I was thinking for a moment about gambling for Lotus Petal, but I already played out my diamond, so a Force of Vigor would be really bad. Sure. I'll just add 3 blue now. Gamble on the stack. We'll grab Echo. Cast it. Storm 4. This does not do it. We'll play Elegant Parlor. Of course my top card is Gaia's Will. Now I don't have an easy Beseech the Mirror win next turn. Alright, pass. They have the land. Lotus Petal. That's an Informer. Yep. They're going to target themselves. In response, I will silence. I thought about silencing in response to the Lotus Petal, but our opponent's playing a list with Summoner's Pact, so if I could get them to accidentally kill themselves, I was kind of hoping for that, but maybe it's greedy. They do have a Memories Journey in there. We'll take a draw. So I have Song of Creation plus Trigger. That's what I can do here because I accidentally surveilled into Gaia's Will. We will try to think. There's no better line, I think. I think it just has to be Song of Creation. Yeah, it just has to be Song. Play the Mox Opal. Trigger. Diamond keeps me alive. See it. That was not good enough. So they also brought in Foundation Breaker. I have to pass the turn. A fetch land would have been good, but it just didn't happen. In their upkeep, they're going to flashback Memories Journey. They had the Summoner's Pact in hand. So, I mean, I wasn't necessarily wrong about trying to get them to kill themselves with Summoner's Pact in my Silence deck. But, I don't know. I did not win this game. I'm going to just resubmit here. Game 3 on the play. I think we keep this. There's no Leyline, but it is a turn 1 spin. They have Leyline of Sanctity. We'll play Chrome Mox and Imprint Gamble, Mox Opal, Lion's Eye Diamond. So they could Force a Vigor here. And they did have it, so I'll float a red. Unfortunately, I cannot cast the Dark Ritual. And now we'll gamble, grab an Echo, and let's spin. Storm is 6. Oh, if not for the Leyline, this would have been a win. Brutal. We'll play the Lotus Petal, pass the turn. They play their own Lotus Petal, and they're going to pass. Mox Opal. We'll play we'll play the Opal and then play a Chrome Mox. This trigger on the stack, I'd like to Brainstorm. So I think I can set up a Gaia's Will into Song and win. So we'll put back the Tendrils and the Burning Wish, imprint the Leyline, play Chrome Mox, imprint Silence, Dark Ritual, Beseech the Mirror, bargain Mox Opal, Beseech the Mirror, bargain Chrome Mox, Beseech the Mirror, put a hold priority on this one, bargain Chrome Mox, and then we'll float a black, we'll grab Gaia's Will, play Dark Ritual, Lotus Petal, Chrome Mox, and now we'll Beseech the Mirror for Song of Creation, play the Mox Opal, trigger, Chrome Mox, auto yield. Oh no, that's not good. Imprint the Brainstorm, cast Brainstorm, hit another Opal. Okay. We're okay now. We'll put back 2 cards. Play Diamond, tap for a red, we'll play Opal, play Petal, cast Gamble. In response to the Gamble, we'll play Dark Ritual. And now Gamble, we'll grab another Dark Ritual, cast the Dark Ritual, play Chrome Mox, imprint Gamble, cast Burning Wish, yes, select Boomerang Basics. I suppose I can play my land for turn. We'll fetch, grab Underground Sea, bounce the Ley Line, Tendrils of Agony. Wow. We beat Oopsal spells. That makes me happy. I do feel a little bit bad about the Death and Taxes thing, but we're starting this league off 1-0, and hopefully we get the next one. Packs.com is the new way to open your favorite cards. It's a site where you open digital packs of trading cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, and One Piece cards, and have the cards you open mailed quickly and securely to you. With a wide range of packs to choose from, such as the latest Magic sets, Kaladesh inventions, or even beta. I'm going to open a beta pack. What's great about Packs.com is you can see all of the cards and their odds of being opened in each pack. Now it's time to open one and see what I get. Come on, Black Lotus! If you don't like what you opened, you could sell it back instantly for more packs, or sell it and pick a specific card from the marketplace over at packs.com/market. If you want to check out packs.com, make sure to click the link in the description of this video and use code STORM5 when making a purchase for 5% extra on your first purchase. Match number 2, we're on the draw. Our opponent has no results, which usually means one of two things to me: Oopsal spells or Dimir Tempo. I'm going to hope it's not Oopsal spells, and I think I'm going to keep this. I'm expecting Brainstorm to do some lifting here for us. And they quickly mulligan to 5, and now I'm thinking that I kept a hand that is not very good against Oopsal spells. Hers is mine. Okay, so it's the Eldrazi ramp deck. It has Trinispheres in it, which scares me. Silence. So I can upkeep Silence them, and then next turn Brainstorm. We'll grab Plateau and Silence. Okay, well, they didn't have 3 mana on turn 2, so maybe I just, punt it a little bit. The Lotus Petal allows me to hardcast the Echo of Aeons this turn. We'll play Chrome Mox, imprint Brainstorm, play the Mox Opal, cast Dark Ritual, blue, tap the Plateau, and Echo of Aeons with a Lotus Petal open. That is not a hand that wins the game. Okay, I'm going to have to play Chrome Mox and pass. The one upside is I do have double Burning Wish. If my opponent plays something this turn that would prevent me from doing something meaningful, I can Burning Wish into the Boomerang Basics in the sideboard. They have a Grim Monolith. Now they have 4 mana. We'll take a key that allows them to go up to 5 mana. Oh, they got Metalcraft, so now the Urza's Workshop taps for 3. Okay. They could even untap it using the Candelabra. They play One Ring with 3 open mana. I'll move my sideboard down. They draw a card off the One Ring, 5 cards in hand, Trinisphere. Bummer. We draw Elegant Parlor, which doesn't really help me here. We'll cast the Burning Wish. Yes. Go grab Boomerang Basics. And this might be crazy. I think I'm going to grab the other Boomerang Basics right now. And the reason why is if they play a Karn the Great Creator next turn, I could theoretically bounce Karn, bounce Trinisphere, pass. They draw 2 cards off of the One Ring. Planar Nexus, they have all the mana in the world. They made 12 mana and then untapped the One Ring and drew more cards. What can you do with 12 mana? I hope nothing I care about. Karn the Great Creator? Oh, this just gets Lattice. I'm dead. Yep. Okay. I guess I needed to draw better. Unfortunate. We do not need Hexing Squelcher. We want Boomerang Basics. Don't need the Runehorn Hellkite. I would like Empty the Warrens. I did see a list of this deck, and it had 3 copies of Sideboard Mindbreak Trap, so they're on 4 main deck Trinisphered and 3 sideboard copies of Mindbreak Trap. It is a tough match to win. And then I think we're going to cut a Mox Opal, and we'll try this. Game 2 on the play. Nope. I mean, it's close. While keeping bottom the Dark Ritual. Maybe the second Boomerang Basics. Yeah, we'll try this. They have Leyline. We'll play Lotus Petal, Lion's Eye Diamond. I think I'm going to just bounce the Leyline on the first turn. Bounce the Leyline. They un-F6'd when it came to the 3rd spell, so I think they actually have the trap. And there it is. Okay. They thought they were being sneaky. I suppose I could have gone bounce and then play Petal. That would have been better. They play a Candelabra. We draw Dark Ritual. Brainstorm on the stack. I did not find anything good. We'll put back Lion's Eye Diamond and Silence. Pass the turn. They play a Urza's Power Plant into Sorcerer's Spyglass. Sure. I don't think that card is very good in the matchup. Like, you almost have to name fetch lands. The name Lion's Eye Diamond. That's not how that card works, but okay. So we're going to have to take a 50-50 here. I'm going to go Dark Ritual, Gamble for Beseech the Mirror. It's the only thing I can do. So if we lose the gamble, we lose the match. That's just how it's going to be. I did not lose the gamble. Pass Beseech the Mirror, bargain away the Lion's Eye Diamond, Storm is 4, and now we will empty the Warrens. 10 goblins. Is this good enough? I don't know, but it's better than not doing anything. And now we'll pass. They play an Urza Saga, Grim Monolith. They use the Candelabra. The workshop now makes 3 mana. Another Grim Monolith. They have 1 card in hand. Of course it's Karn the Great Creator. And now they can go get Ensnaring Bridge. Ah, wow. Yeah. And they do in fact grab Ensnaring Bridge. So I guess my out here would be to draw Boomerang Basics and bounce the Leyline, and then have Leyline stuck in their hand because they can't cast it. And we did draw Boomerang Basics. Better lucky than good. We'll bounce the Leyline of the Void. We're going to send all creatures at them, and then we're going to undo 3 and kill the Karn the Great Creator. By Great Creator, I mean piece of trash. Okay. Urza Saga goes to the 2nd chapter. They drew another spell. They used the Candelabra. So something they could have done this turn was make 2 constructs with the Candelabra and Urza Saga. They drew the 1 ring. Yeah, I guess I ripped Boomerang Basics, but still hurts. Now they play a Manifold Key, so they can draw more cards off of the 1 ring. We draw a Lion's Eye Diamond. They have 1 ring protection, so there's no point in attacking here. We'll pass the turn. They go to 11. Urza Saga now goes to the 3rd chapter. They draw 3 cards off of the 1 ring. They untap the 1 ring, and now they'll draw 4. Come on, just have nothing. Have 10 lands in your hand. Is that too much to ask? 10 lands? That would also allow you to have 8 lands and 2 Mindbreak traps. They play a land for turn. They filtered a colorless into black. I don't know if this is for a Barrogoyf or if they plan on casting Leyline of the Void. They made 2 black. There's Leyline of the Void. They still have 8 cards in their hand, though. They play another Sorcerer Spyglass. They name Lion's Eye Diamond again. For those of you at home, it says that are not mana abilities. Lion's Eye Diamond is still a mana ability, but I'm glad that they do not know this for a possible Game 3. Oh no, another Candelabra. They have so much mana here. They might actually be able to empty their hand. No? They passed. Will I actually get to do damage here? Swing. Put you to 1? Die to your own copy of the 1 ring? Yeah, looks like it. We somehow stole game number 2. They're responding to the 1 ring trigger here. I don't think the colorless ramp deck has anything. I could be wrong. Like, I know, I found out that when I played this in a video that apparently you can consign to memory this trigger, which is really cool, but I don't think that this deck plays consign to memory. We win game number 2 on the back of some goblins. I think I want the Mox Opal, and this is crazy, I'm going to put out a Brainstorm. I don't think I have time to Brainstorm fetch land in this matchup, and I think the mana is just more valuable. We're going to do this. This hand is interesting. I think I'm actually going to keep it because I have 3 lands versus the Trinisphere deck, and I have a Boomerang Basics. The downside is I don't have a Lion's Eye Diamond for the Echo of Aeons. So, and I do have a Silence for Mindbreak Trap. Like, this hand has a lot of things I like, except for the Lion's Eye Diamond. So we're going to try it out. The opponent with a mulligan to 5, they play a turn 1 Urza Saga into Voltaic Key. Another Echo. We'll play Undercity Sewers. I don't want the Chrome Mox, so we can get rid of that. Urza Saga to the 2nd chapter. They play an Urza's Workshop. Grim Monolith. Mox Opal's the draw. We'll play Scalding Tarn and just pass. Saga to the 3rd chapter. They could make a construct here. They're not going to. Ooh, I'm punished by Needle. I didn't even consider that. Okay, so now they're going to get my Scalding Tarn. No, they name Lion's Eye Diamond. Oh my. Oh my. And now they play Trinisphere. They must have drawn this because they could have played it last turn. That's why I didn't upkeep Silence. We'll keep the Badlands. They have 2 cards still in their hand. This might be crazy. I am going to discard Echo to hand size. And then we can, potentially win without needing to draw a Lion's Eye Diamond. A 2nd Trinisphere. That's probably going to beat me. We'll play Scalding Tarn and pass. I have to imagine they drew these back-to-back turns. Otherwise, their turn 2 doesn't make any sense. It's going to be really tough to beat 2 copies of Trinisphere. I mean, it's not impossible, but very difficult. They have Kozilek's Command for my Echo of Aeons. So, I mean, this I think is probably a bad idea. You could try to bounce the Grim Monolith to cut them off mana, but then the second they draw like lands, you're really far behind, so I don't think it's a good idea. So Burning Wish can grab another Boomerang Basics. It could also get Empty the Warrens. So that way next turn I could go Dark Ritual, Empty the Warrens for 4 and just start attacking. Is that better? Oh, the Empty's in my main deck. Never mind. We'll grab the other Boomerang Basics. Pass the turn. They drew another Urza's Workshop, and they do have Metalcraft, so now those tap for 4 mana, which is why bouncing the Grim Monolith would have been a bad call. They played a Candelabra of Thanos. They untap their lands. They can now make more mana, up to 5. Grim Monolith is 8 mana. And Karn the Great Creator. Alright, I'm going to save myself some time here. We will concede. So we have lost to the Eldrazi Ramp deck. I guess it's not even really Eldrazi Ramp anymore. This is just Mud. So we lost to the Mud deck. And we are now 1-1.
Building a new deck usually means getting hit with a dozen different shipping fees from a dozen different sellers. It adds up fast, and honestly, it's the worst part of buying cards. That's why I switched to Card Trader Zero. You shop their global marketplace, but instead of having every seller ship to you, they ship to Card Trader's hub first. Card Trader then packs everything into a single shipment for you, and it saves a small fortune on shipping fees. This package from Card Trader just arrived. These are 4 Dark Rituals that came from 4 different sellers, but they all arrived in one envelope, and every card was quality checked by the Card Trader team before it hit my door. Check out the link in the description to try Card Trader Zero's optimizer for yourself. Stop paying for multiple shipments and get just one.
Match number 3, we're on the draw. Our opponent's taking a mulligan. I faced them last week and they were on Is It Delver? I don't love this hand, but I do think that it has lands and protection. You're really leaning on this Brainstorm to sort of fix up the hand a little bit, but I think that's okay. They play an Arid Mesa. They fetch. This can grab Volcanic Island. Ooh, they're not on Is It Delver? It looks like they're on Energy. Okay. That is a turn 1 Guide of Souls. Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm going to main phase this Brainstorm. We hit Echo, but I think I'm going to wait a turn. So we can get rid of the Song of Creation and a Beseech the Mirror. Pass the turn. So I don't know if they're on Boros or Mardu. Mardu has discard spells. Boros does not. Both builds do play Static Prison. So I don't want to play out my Lion's Eye Diamond and then get hit by Static Prison. So I'm choosing to not play it out. They swing. Okay. We'll play our Badlands, play Lion's Eye Diamond. I'm going to try to gamble for another copy of Lion's Eye Diamond here. This was the big reason for passing the turn mostly. Of course, we discard the Lion's Eye Diamond. Why wouldn't we discard the Lion's Eye Diamond? Brutal. Alright, we will spin Echo Veons. Storm is 3. And we'll pass the turn. They play Arid Mesa. And it looks like they are on Mardu. That's not good for me. Cabal Therapy. Oh no. They name Beseech the Mirror. I think Cabal Therapy is actually worse for me here than a Thoughtseize. Because they're going to hit 3 protection spells from my hand. Did I say protection? 3 action spells from my hand. And pre-combat, they're going to flashback the Cabal Therapy. They did not want that 1 point of damage off of the cat. They go after Gamble, which is smart. So my best draw by far is Echo Veons. I would also take another Gamble. Burning Wish would allow us to use the sideboard copy of Echo Veons. Really asking a lot of this Brainstorm, assuming our draw step isn't incredible. Now they play another Guide of Souls. Okay. Our draw is terrible. Alright, so we will fetch Underground Sea, cast the Brainstorm. We'll hide Brainstorm on top. They tend to have more discard than Static Prison, so I'm going to play out the Lion's Eye Diamond. Pass the turn. Wasteland here is brutal. Okay, well, they didn't go after my Underground Sea, which is actually very good. Because now I can fetch and cast Brainstorm next turn. They have a Voice of Victory. Taking a lot of damage here. So I'm going to draw a Brainstorm that doesn't really help. And we have to fetch for Plateau. It's our only untapped fetchable land. So we're not in a good spot, because even if I hit Echo, I can't cast the Dark Ritual. I would need like an insane Brainstorm, like Echo plus Lotus Petal. Something like that. I hit Lotus Petal, but I did not hit Echo. I'm dead on board. So I think we just have to Brainstorm again. Beseech the Mirror plus Lotus Petal would have won, but I didn't draw into that. Okay. This league has been A little bit bad for us, but, you know, like, this is not a bad matchup. I'm not trying to pretend that it is, but my variance has not been ideal. I mean, I hit the 50-50 gamble. That's, like, the only good thing that's happened to me so far. All right, so we'll bring in Boomerang Basics, maybe the Empty the Warrens. We'll get rid of Hexing Squelchers and the Runehorn Hellkite. Most of the Mardu lists are not playing Mindbreak Trap, so I think I'm going to board on one Silence and keep in the Empty the Warrens. If they did have traps, I'd board out the Empty. But we're going to try this. Game number 2 on the play. This hand is so close. 1 mana shy. If the Silence or Tendrils were a different card, unfortunately, I think you're supposed to send this back. And this is much better. So the question is, like, how bad do you want to lose to Leyline of the Void? I think I'm going to hedge to not completely lose. I'm going to bottom a Dark Ritual. Alright, and they do have it. Oh, well, I guess that's completely offline. Okay, so that hurt. We'll play the Opal. I guess I'm going to gamble for a Burning Wish here, because Burning Wish would allow me to do something meaningful. Pass the turn. They play Elegant Parlor. Gets rid of a Marsh Flats. Gamble. Pass the turn. I need mana. Badly. They play Marsh Flats. They fetch for a Scrubland. They have Cabal Therapy. Hopefully they name something I don't have. Beseech the Mirror. I do not have that one. They play an Ocelot Pride. 3 cards left in their hand. They flash back the Cabal Therapy. And they take my Burning Wish. Yep. We draw Beseech the Mirror. I think I'm going to just pass here. I think, like, gamble for Dark Ritual is just too risky. They play a Guide of Souls. An Arid Mesa. Still 2 cards in their hand. Chrome Mox. We will pass. They search out a Shadowy Backstreet. Gets rid of a Hexing Squelcher. They play a Plateau. 2 cards still in their hand. They swing. No blocks. And they're going to pass. Interesting. We draw Burning Wish, which means that I'm 1 mana shy of Peer into the Abyss. We'll play the Chrome Mox and play Imprint the Gamble. So I could even Peer into the Abyss through a Mindbreak Trap. They play Hexing Squelcher. Land. I mean, I'm pretty confident that they have a Pyroblast in their hand, but I'm just going to cast it anyway. It's not like holding this helps. And that just immediately resolved. What would you not be playing? I mean, most lists are not on Mindbreak Trap right now, so I think I'm going to just throw caution to the wind. We'll fetch. Play Dark Ritual. That looked like an F6. We will cast Burning Wish holding priority. Sacrifice for black. Sacrifice for black. Yes. Peer into the Abyss. Target myself. Firm is 4. Alright, so that resolved. I don't know what they would be holding. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, they have 2 cards in their hand. We'll cast Silence. Play another Mox Opal. Play Lotus Petal. We will Boomerang Basics on our Mox Opal. Oh, there's like a whole half hand I didn't see. I was like, I don't really want to sacrifice my artifacts here. But did not realize that I had, like, more cards in my hand. Alright, cast Tendrils of Agony. Storm 15. And then we're going to be off to game number 3. Maybe they just didn't think Brainstorm was worth a Pyroblast? I don't know. But, like, Echo of Aeons was already shut off, so I don't know the logic. Okay, game 3 on the draw. I think this hand is really weak. You have lands, but just, like, empty is not good here. You're not fast. You don't beat a Deafening Silence. I'm going to mulligan. So you need them to not have Leyline of the Void or Deafening Silence and no Pyroblast. I'm going to go to 5. This is the best hand we've seen. Get rid of Empty the Warrens and Silence. They have Leyline of the Void, 5 cards in their hand now. They have Badlands. We'll play Elegant Parlor. Diamond doesn't do it for me. I'm going to get rid of this. Pass the turn. They play Karakas. Null Rod. Alright, Dark Ritual. Let's see it. Nope. Pass the turn. Dark Ritual is my best draw. It would allow me to empty the Warrens. They have Wasteland. Yep. Things are not looking good for us. We will fetch and surveil. Drawing the second Beseech the Mirror was not good. Dark Ritual is, but I'm still a mana short now. So we'll pass. I need another copy of Dark Ritual or a land. They play Silent Clearing. Ocelot Pride is pretty good against Empty the Warrens. Burning Wish, we must pass. They did not sacrifice the Silent Clearing. They play Marsh Flats. They swing for 1, I'll go to 18. We drew the third Beseech the Mirror. So now Empty is actually pretty terrible, because I can't chain them for Storm. They kept a card on top. We'll discard Beseech the Mirror. Another Ocelot Pride. Things are looking very bad for the home team. And now they have an Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah, I don't know how we would possibly win this. Draw for turn. Yeah, they got me. The Wasteland did me in. Alright, so it happens. Things are, looking tough today. We're 1-2. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. They support over 30 formats, including Legacy and many other Eternal formats. There are so many options to view decks the way that you want, from text view to individual cards, mana value, and even card price. There's also light mode and dark mode. My personal favorite feature is card tags. This way you can sort cards by function. Moxfield supports collection tracking, Scryfall search, decklist feedback, and so much more. Follow me on Moxfield.com so you can stay updated on all of my decks. We are looking to bounce back in match number 4. We're on the draw. Our opponent has revealed a Yorion Sky Nomad. They have no legacy results, but a ton of mono white results in Pauper. So I'm guessing they're playing Death and Taxes. I could turn one Brainstorm plus Gamble here, but the hand overall is not very powerful. I think I'll just mulligan instead. This is better. Get rid of Runehorn Hellkite. They play basic Plains into Aether Vial. It confirms Death and Taxes. We draw Dark Ritual. We're pretty close to peer into the abyss next turn, but they are likely, and I mean extremely likely, to be a Orcish Bowmaster strategy. I think I'm going to main phase the Brainstorm to see if I can hit another artifact, because if we do, I can just turn one empty the Warrens for like 14. I did not. I will hide a Burning Wish on top. Pass the turn. So if our opponent does nothing I care about, we do have a deterministic win next turn, I believe. They play Flagstones, Thalia. Okay, so this Death and Taxes player is in fact playing Thalia. We will pass the turn. Aether Vial goes up to 2. They play Shadowy Backstreet, and they swing. We'll draw the other land that's on top, and then play out a Mox Opal. Pass the turn. So I could Burning Wish for Boomerang Basics, but then our opponent knows to keep the Aether Vial on 2. So I don't want to play into that. Instead, I'm going to just pass. They use the Aether Vial. Stoneforge Mystic. This can grab a Meteor Sword. I think this game's just over. And it does. So we're going to lose game number 1 to Death and Taxes. I needed a better Brainstorm. I suppose I could have spun Echo of Aeons with no mana floating, but Brainstorm could have just won the game, which I think is better. We'll bring in Boomerang Basics, de-empty the Warrens, shave 1 Silence, the Hexing Squelchers, and the Runehorn Hellkite. Game number 2 on the play. This hand is incredibly slow. I think we can do better. This hand is terrible. We're going to 5. To 4. This one doesn't even cast Gamble. To 3. I guess we're keeping this. Our opponent is mulligan to 4. We'll play Scalding Tarn and pass. They have basic Plains. We will fetch and Surveil. Grab Elegant Parlor. Do not want Silence. Mox Opal. So that allows me to gamble for Echo, but if they have a Surgical Extraction, I'm just going to cry myself to sleep. The one upside would be if they mulligan to Mindbreak Trap and then have nothing else, I would be able to Echo through Trap. They play Flagstones into Thalia. Alright, so it looks like we're going to be 1-3 in this video. We will keep that. Pause in my draw step. Are you trying to cast Surgical Extraction with your own Thalia? Because that doesn't work. We will pass. They attacked and just passed the turn. We draw Brainstorm. Suppose we'll cast it. Not the best. Pass the turn. And step, they have Thalia. They swing. I go to 14. We'll play Lotus Petal. This will turn on the Mox Opal. So my top card is a Mox Opal. So next turn I could in theory flashback Echo of Aeons with 1 open mana. There's a world out there, which I doubt it's this one because I'm not that fortunate. But I could flashback Echo, hit untapped land, hit Boomerang Basics, and then have the other 5 cards be able to win the game. It's pretty unlikely. Another thing I could do with the gamble in hand is try to gamble for Boomerang Basics and then 50-50 it. Okay. Select Boomerang Basics. We won the 50-50. Okay. So as of right now, I have enough mana next turn to go Boomerang Basics into Echo of Aeons. They drew Deafening Silence. Yep. Them the breaks. I'm at 4. Okay. We are now 1-3. Deafening Silence beats me, but I have to say, Death and Taxes got to win this video. That did happen. Alright, let's go play the 5th and final round. Looking to make playing your favorite combo deck much easier? Look no further than the Epic Storm Mini Combo Pack, which is available at theepicstorm.com/shop for $15.99. This token combo pack comes with 84 double-sided tokens featuring classic Storm and Mana tokens with new inclusions such as our modern Ruby Storm package, but that's not all. Our token pack covers a variety of formats from Pauper to CDH with new tokens. Stop on by theepicstorm.com/shop and make an easy decision to elevate your combo game. The 5th and final round, we're facing a coaching client of mine and we're on the draw, so it is the mirror match. We must mulligan. Keep bottom gamble. Throw Mox. Imprints Burning Wish. I did think this was in fact the mirror match, and it is. Lotus Petal. Dark Ritual. Beseech the Mirror. This is not a guys will win yet, but it could be. They play Song of Creation. Mox Opal. I think they just missed Deterministic Lethal. Yeah, you could have you could have just killed me. Oh, they discard their hand. Am I wrong? So instead of playing the song, they could have played the Opal. Opal is 4. Chrome is 5. Yeah, they missed Deterministic Lethal. I can't even do anything about it. Well, I guess I drew the Echo, so should I try to high roll here? We'll gamble. Diamond. We did high roll. So if I fizzle, I'm definitely dead. But I don't know. If they draw 0, they could easily kill me. I'm going to just try to go... Like, this is a little aggressive. That was not good. So we have to try to gamble for another diamond. Gamble. Blinds that diamond. Straight to the graveyard. Yep. Ugh, man. This has been an ugly, ugly league. There's no way they're fizzling with a song in play and a new 7-card hand. I'm going to just save myself the time here. We'll go to the next one. I do think it's important to upload leagues like this to show that it happens to everyone. It's not just like... Some people only upload videos where they have success or create content where they're successful. But like bad days happen to all of us, and I think it's important to remember that. It's not just like, like unlucky people or people who don't have names or whatever. Like everyone has bad days. Okay, we will try this out on the play. So I have Leyline, I have a Silence. You know what, this hand seems bad, but I think it's actually just fine. We'll play Petal, pass the turn. I think that this is a game where you're expected to get a lot of draw steps, because if they go all in, you silence them. They can't echo with a Leyline in play. So I think it's actually just reasonable. Chrome Mox, we'll pass the turn. They search out Elegant Parlor, Undercity Sewers. They kept a card on top. Lion's Eye Diamond. We draw Echo of Aeons. I think I'm going to play the Chrome Mox this turn in case they try to do something. I'll still have the Chrome Mox in play. Like if they have like Boomerang Basics and a spin, I'll still have a Chrome Mox. So we'll imprint the Burning Wish here. Pass the turn. Another Lion's Eye Diamond. Mox Opal. This could be Peer into the Abyss mana. It looks like they're passing. Brainstorm, which I can't cast because I played the Chrome Mox last turn. I am forced to silence in response. We drew Plateau, so I could gamble for another silence. Or I could gamble for LED. They're going to silence me in response. Alright, well now I'm definitely getting a silence. Alright, select it. Pass the turn. And step they Brainstorm. Dark Ritual. Dark Ritual. I'm going to let them Beseech the Mirror. So they can get Song of Creation and trigger it, and we're going to let them draw most of their deck and then silence them. Or maybe I shouldn't say most of their deck. I don't want to die if they draw Tendrils of Agony. So maybe I'll let them build up Storm. They're definitely favored in this spot, I think. They fetch another Lion's Eye Diamond. I think that this is a good spot to cast the Silence. So any spell next turn, they could probably kill me. Alright, let's see the draw. Lotus Petal. We're hoping for like a Miracle Brainstorm here. Cast it. Ask for a Miracle Brainstorm. No! Wow. I don't even know what to say. This has truly been a league of all time. Alright, I'm going to concede. So yeah, this was a nightmare. I guess the April Fools is on me. Alright everyone, so if you didn't pick it up already, this was obviously an April Fool's joke. Velgrim donated for this. Velgrim, thank you. Hopefully you enjoyed the memes, but mostly the memes were on me. We actually lost the Death and Taxes. We lost the mirror. The only deck we beat was Oops All Spells. Yeah, so bad days happen. I'm not going to let it bother me. But hopefully you got a good laugh out of today's video. I certainly did. And I hope you have a wonderful day. As always, keep storming. If you enjoyed this video, you might also like the Eternal Glory podcast featuring myself, Bryant Cook, alongside Brian Koval, known as Bosch and Roll, and Phil Gallagher, aka Thraben University, where we discuss legacy theories, strategies, ban restricted announcements, and so much more. We're available on all major podcast platforms and YouTube.